Hello. Nice to see my followers. Everybody, if you want to join us, we are on YouTube, we're on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram to answer any immigration questions that you have. And what I wanted to talk about today, usually I talk in Spanish. I wanted to try speaking in English today, but if you do speak Spanish or Portuguese, eu estou praticando o meu português. Se você quer fazer alguma pergunta aqui no português, eu também vou tratar de contestar-te, ok? O meu português não é perfeito, but I can try to answer you in Portuguese and also in Spanish if you do have a question in either of those languages. And obviously, I also speak English. I'm attorney Alicia Morgan in Miami, Florida, but we represent clients all over the United States and also throughout the world. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the need to close your immigration court case if you have a court case. Why? Because it doesn't look like Biden is going to bow out of the race gracefully. And even though, I'm going to do what I can to support Biden, regardless, obviously, I'm not voting for Trump. But whatever happens, we don't know the outcome of the election, but we do know a couple of things that that are in the ex-president Trump's plans within the first 90 days that he's in office. He has already put out a document, Project 2025, that explains all the things that Trump plans to do, specifically all over, in all of the different agencies, the changes that they want to do, basically to undo the Democratic Party's last 4 years. But the DHS, the documents that have to do with the Department of Homeland Security, I've been reviewing those, and it is drastic, all the changes that Trump plans to do if he takes power in January. And one of the first things I want to talk about is he's going to do away completely with prosecutorial discretion. There won't be prosecutorial discretion, and there also will not be TPS. So he said that he's going to get rid of all TPS. As you know, the courts have fought Trump on that in the past, and he tried to end TPS for the Haitians and for basically all the several countries, but it didn't work. So, he's going to have different advisors and other people trying to do it correctly this time, but he does plan to get rid of TPS. Obviously, he also plans to end all of those parole programs that were enacted under Biden's presidency, and he's going to get rid of prosecutorial discretion. So those are like the first three things that will drastically affect immigration. So what should you do? If you're a person who's in immigration court right now, you definitely need to file to dismiss your case if you qualify, a motion to dismiss, a motion for prosecutorial discretion. So put your questions here in the comments. I'm going to try to give you some information in between the questions about these Project 2025. Obviously, you want to get your questions answered, but keep in mind, if you're in immigration court, you don't want to be if Trump takes over. So if there's a way to accelerate your case, if there's a way to ask the government the attorney to stipulate relief, to ask them to dismiss, to ask them to admin close, now is the time. What I apply for the new law and it's canceled by the courts or a new presidency. Okay, so what if you file for this new law, but the law doesn't stay in effect or it gets paused or stopped by litigation? So how obviously immigration is always affected by politics. And it has happened many times in the past that DACA, for example, I want to use DACA as an example. DACA has been paused. DACA has been stopped for new application by litigation. But right now, even today, people can still do renewals for TPS. So anybody who already had TPS before Trump put in this new rule to stop, not TPS, anybody who already had DACA before Trump and the Republicans filed the lawsuit to stop DACA, basically all of those people were okay. So they didn't end DACA for everyone. They only ended new applications for DACA as of the date of that litigation. So that's the first thing I want you to know, is that if you had already filed before whatever litigation is filed, most of the time, those cases will actually be okay. It's only the new applications that would be stopped or paused. Now, if the whatever litigation is eventually resolved, which has happened in other times in the past, then hopefully the application would reopen for other people. For example, even though the government is not processing new applications for DACA, they are accepting those applications. They're basically putting them on pause. They're putting them on administrative closure to wait to see if there will be any new changes in the litigation that is already currently pending about DACA. So those people who are still filing applications for DACA, because the law is not closed, and even the law doesn't say that they will reject or deny those new applications, I do still encourage people, if you qualify for DACA, even though you had never received DACA in the past and you don't qualify for the renewal, file your DACA if you qualify, because as you know, Trump is going to do what he said before, which is try to completely end that program. He tried to do things the wrong way before, but hopefully he'll have other advisors. I mean, not hopefully, but I'm sure he's going to have different advisors that will try to do things the right way so that it doesn't happen. I hope that Trump loses in Matador, but we have to be realistic. Biden is not in a good position right now. Okay. And let me see if I have a way to report and block any people who are being crazy. Okay. Let me see. So if you come on here and want to say mean things about me, guess what? This is not your public space. So I am going to block you. Just FYI. Okay, go to your own public space to say the things that you want to, but I'm here to help immigrants. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. I'm going to block you if you say anything rude or hateful against immigrants or against me. Sorry. Okay, I applied for a travel document almost a year ago. Do you have any idea how long it will take? So I'm not sure, Corinne, how you applied for that travel document. Was it for DACA? Was it for TPS? Was it based on an application for a green card? But however you filed that, it depends on the category, how long it's taking. You can check the processing time on uscis.gov, put it into Google, USCIS processing time. So then you're going to put in the I-131, and then it lets you choose. Thank you for the heart. Thank you so much, Irish. Basically, thank you for that, Irish medium. But basically, it depends on the application, the way that you filed. Thank you for the bracelet. I very much love all things shiny. So love the bracelet. Thank you. But you can check your processing times online. We can help you if you need help with that. But the processing times are a little long for things like travel documents. So thank you for the rose and the ice cream. Anybody who wants to send me ice cream, it's hot here in Miami. And we can help you check, but if it's been pending almost a year, what you want to know is it outside of the normal processing times, which if you put it into USCIS processing times, you can check how long is it taking, and it'll tell you what are 80% of the cases taking right now. Thank you for the ice cream, Irish. Woo! Okay, so I think I'm supposed to do something since we met. I got 10 ice cream cones. Now I'm going to be able to dance. Let's see. I don't have music, but my sister, I have actually an identical twin sister, and she's an amazing dancer. I would let her dance if I bring her on, because she's actually the dancer of the pair of us. I used to do salsa and other dances, but my knee is kind of messed up. But in general, if it's outside that 80% of the processing times, then we can complain, basically. That's what we can do. And then if you want to, you can sue the government when your case gets outside of reasonable processing times. The government has to decide within 2 months. It has to give you a decision. So, the only thing is that costs some money. So to get a lawyer to help you with a mandamus claim in Miami, it's around $5,000. So it takes some money for you to sue the government. But just so you know, it's not actually, it's not illegal, and it's not going to hurt your case to sue the government. So there's a lot of people that think, oh no, like if I sue the government, they're going to be mad at me. Like, no, they're supposed to do their job in a reasonable amount of time. And if you file that case, they can't like hold it against you, basically. Okay. Can a DACA renewal be accepted with a DUI? No. So DACA, they came out with specific crimes that would make you ineligible. Okay. So if you had a DUI, if you had a domestic violence, any of these crimes that they considered to be, serious misdemeanors, those are listed on the law, then you can't qualify. So a DUI is going to disqualify you for DACA and a DACA renewal. Let's see. My friend left for Mexico for his appointment, but didn't have an I-601. How long was he going to have to wait? So, Jaime, so it sounds like your friend was inside the United States and then he left. So the question is, did he have a 10-year punishment? That's what I want to know. So if he left for Mexico, meaning that he was inside the United States, if he had been here, what you want to know is did he have the permanent bar? He applied for a 601 waiver instead of a 601A. So I would want to do some more question. Why did he file for the 601? Was it a crime? Jaime, so the case is a little complicated, a little hard for me to tell you that. In general, 601s are taking 2 to 3 years. But, what you want to know is, are they eligible for that waiver, or are they going to have to wait 10 years despite the fact that they filed this waiver? So if you want to send us a message on WhatsApp, it's 1-305-501-0783. We can help schedule you for an appointment. You're talking about your friend, so it's not you, but we're happy to answer your friend's questions as well. If you want to send us a question on WhatsApp, 1-305-501-0783. You can also call us and we can help you schedule an appointment. Right now, cases like your friends, we could give him a meeting, a free 15-minute meeting. It's just $5 to reserve the meeting. When I joined the Marines, how long would it take for my parents to get U.S. citizenship? So you can't get directly U.S. citizenship for your parents, but what you could do would be to file for them, if they came in unlawfully, a parole in place. It's actually similar. It's the new rule that Biden just did was based on the parole in place that is currently in place for family members of the military. So basically, if your parents came in unlawfully, we're going to get them a parole in place, which means they don't have to leave the country. They're going to get a parole. For the military, it's 1 year parole. And then while that parole is pending, so they have, the work permit for that year, they're going to file for the adjustment of status. And so after they get the adjustment of status, they're going to have to wait 4 years, 9 months before they can get U.S. citizenship. Okay, 40. So, but congratulations if you're joining the Marines. Thank you for that. Let me see. Thank you for the gifts. Updates to the new parole in place. So there's no new updates, but we do know that it's supposed to come out this summer, which could be any time now. So it could be in another month. It could be, I would imagine that since they're saying summer and they didn't, say something like fall, right? That the plan is for it to come out in the Federal Register before, say, September. That would be my guess, because that's when fall officially starts. And, school starts in the middle of August. So I would be hoping that it would come out, within the next month, 6 weeks. But everything, depends on the government. But what you should find out, what you should hear is that there's going to be an update in the Federal Register. It's going to be all over the news when it happens. So reach out to us if you believe that you qualify, because we're actually creating a list for our clients and our prospects who seem to qualify for this list. And we're going to be contacting you immediately when the law comes into effect. There are people who are already charging people money for this law, which I don't believe that that's ethical. Okay. The law is not yet in effect. So we already know what you're going to need. And for our clients and our prospects, we're telling you the estimate of the money, what it would cost. So that you can prepare yourself. But I don't believe that it's, fair for other people to be charging you money for something that cannot yet be filed. What if, God forbid, anything happened and it doesn't even come through? That's why you have to be careful. If there's people in the street saying, hey, we'll start the paperwork and then we're going to file it on day one, the form is not even official yet. It's not live. And there's no guarantee that it's going to be the I-131. Most of the time, it's going to be a new form that comes out for a change like this. So just be careful of people, notaries and lawyers are saying, give us the money now for something that is not yet live. It's not really lawful or ethical to file that case. Then I don't think it's fair for anybody to be charging you money yet. So let's see. Migrated to America when they were 14 years old from Puerto Rico, but he committed crimes. So Dustin on YouTube, I'm a little confused. I'm not sure who you're talking about, but you're saying that somebody migrated to America at age 14 from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. So if somebody migrated from Puerto Rico, that person is a U.S. citizen if they were born in Puerto Rico. So I'm not really sure of your question. Maybe you can clarify. I still don't quite understand. But if this person was migrating from Puerto Rico, okay, or sorry, moved to the U.S. from Puerto Rico when he was 14. So where was this person born? Okay, you're talking about, I don't know who this person is that you're mentioning. But in any way, you say that he had committed crimes and escaped. Okay. Whoever you're talking about, if they were from Puerto Rico, that person's a citizen. If they committed crimes, citizens are not subject to deportation if that person was a citizen. Okay, he's from Guatemala. Then if that's the case, then somebody who was from Guatemala could be deported, okay, if they had committed crimes. All right. So I'm not sure if you have intent to like bring out the fact that sometimes immigrants commit crimes. That's true. But if you guys were to do some research, immigrants commit far fewer crimes than U.S. citizens do. Far fewer. Look up the statistic. It is shameful how many people are into crimes who are our citizens. Okay, there are some percentage, small percentage of not of migrants that are committing crimes, but that's being blown up in the right-wing media. It's not a reflection of all immigrants. So I don't like the people who are like making claims that like, oh, all the crimes that are happening are by immigrants. That's not true at all. Okay, I'm not sure if that's your intent, Dustin, but just to let you know, I'm not here to try to, like push your agenda. If you have a legitimate question about immigration, I'm here to help, but I'm not here to talk to trolls. That's not why I'm here. Okay. Can you travel with the receipt for the I-90 application? Okay. So you file for an I-90 and that's still pending. Those are taking a long time. So the receipt by itself, you would need to travel with that. It's a good idea. But what you need to get is called an info pass appointment so that they can stamp I-551 into your passport so that you can travel. And they have a system now that you have to call their 1-800 number and wait forever. And then they'll be able to actually, through the mail, send you that stamp. Most cities, you don't actually need to go in person. Okay, Martin says, I've been waiting 38 months for VAWA to get approved. Is that normal? So VAWA, it takes a very long time. So unfortunately, VAWA does take a long time. Basically, if you have VAWA, you need to be checking with your lawyer so they can check the processing times. But I will say that VAWA takes a long time in general, 2 to 3 years, because it's only one service center that handles those cases. So if you have a VAWA, you need to be doing the prima facie, renewing the prima facie, okay, every year so that you have permission to work. And then see if you're eligible for a green card. Then you'll be able to, then you could travel or anything else. You're welcome, Dustin. I hope I was helpful to you. So let's see. When can I submit the application for the new parole in place? It's not official yet. So you could start working on a draft of the I-131 so you have the information ready, but the form itself is not live. The application is not live. We don't know specifically if they're going to give us a new form, but nothing can be filed yet. But what you should do if you believe you qualify for this parole in place is start getting the documents together. So if you're going to file it on your own, or if you're going to file it with a lawyer, you need to get the same documents, which is going to be the proof that you were here June the 17th of 2014 up until now. They're going to want specifically the dates, the most that you can find, June 17, 2014 and June 17, 2024. Those dates are important. And then ideally, the most that you can document on those 10 years in between. For DACA, they were super picky. They wanted something like basically every month. Now, there were people who were able to get by with less than that. But what we did in our cases is if you didn't have things for, say, 4, 5, 6 months at a time, we were requesting letters, sworn statements from, friends, family, neighbors, employers that can vouch for you. They can say, I know that you were here for these 6 months because you worked for me, right? If they were paying you in cash or anything like that. But yeah, we want to start getting everything ready because just to get that evidence of those 10 years is going to take time. Let me see. Yes, 2 redheaded twins. Yes, my sister's in California, so I would bring her into the show, but she's on a different time zone. I should bring her in though, so you guys can see her. Abogada, mi esposo puso diferente fecha de entrada, pero ya cumplió con los 10 años. ¿Qué puedo hacer? Ok, ¿dónde puso Gaby que diferente fecha de entrada? ¿Dónde lo puso? ¿En una aplicación? ¿Una aplicación que para un permiso que se aplicó, para un asilo, para una petición familiar? ¿Qué se aplicó? Porque si algo fue metido con inmigración, lo que deben de hacer es sacar el récord de inmigración para estudiarlo bien. No sé si él aplicó con... ¿Me entiendes? Si él aplicó esto con un notario o algo fue incorrecto, pero si alguien estuvo aquí y ya, o sea, más tiempo que lo que habían dicho en papeleo, por ejemplo, lo que debe de hacer es buscar las pruebas de que él estuvo aquí. Porque, bueno, ya sabemos que el gobierno va a revisar que él puso en otro sitio o otro papel que él entró en otra fecha. Me imagino que fue en una fecha después de 2014. Entonces, tú debes de buscar los documentos que va a decir que él estuvo aquí, porque ya en su caso, Gaby, va a ser más complicado que lo convence de migración que él estuvo aquí si él ya lo dijo otra fecha en otro lado. Entonces, ¿qué consigue que comprueba que él estuvo aquí? Eso sería lo complicado en el caso de él. Can I work while marriage green card is pending? Yes, you can. So, but you need to wait for that work permit in order to do things officially. You should have a work permit in order to work for any U.S. employer. So that will come, depends on when you file, because the people who file in 2024, the work permit is coming faster than people who filed in 2023. And God forbid 2022, those are taking even longer. Those cases are more like 9 to 10, 12 months for the work and the travel permit versus people who filed in 2024. And at least in my office, most of them have been coming within 2 to 4 months on the most part. Some would take up to 6 months, but they're faster. They've been coming faster. What are your thoughts on studying abroad while having TPS? Okay, so I would do, so you can get a permission, right, with TPS to do an advanced parole. But those advanced paroles are going to say specifically on the document how long you can be outside. And so if you request a TPS travel document for the purpose of studying abroad, it's going to be up to the government if they're going to give you permission to be outside that whole 4 months or whatever, how long the semester is. So, I have seen advanced paroles approved for only 1 day. And then I have seen advanced paroles approved that, they don't really give us a time limit. They just give us that like year and a half. And we know that they should not be outside longer than 6 months total in a year to avoid any trouble with their TPS. So I would say, you could try it, but a summer study abroad is better if you can. Summer programs are like, say, 6 weeks is a safer situation. But if you wanted to try it, you could, but you're going to need to show all the documentation that the study that you're going to take is very important for your major and all of that. So let's see. I'm on my lunch break and I have another client in a minute, so I can't take any lives with me. I don't know if you guys were wanting to battle, but sorry about that because I actually need to jump off here in 2 more minutes because I have a client at 1. So I just wanted to pop in and answer some questions while I could. Let me see. I applied for DACA years ago, but they denied me. So if you have any, if you applied for DACA, but you got denied, do you have new documents now that would let you apply? It sounds like you never got the initial DACA in the first place, so that it would be considered a renewal. So if that's the case, then you can refile for the DACA now. You can file those cases, but what they're doing is they're holding those in advance. They're not actually deciding those cases until I guess they get a final decision or more clarity on what's going to happen with DACA. So you can still file them if you have, but you should get stronger documents. If you got denied before, could you overcome the reasons, right? Let me see, take one more question here. Applied for the U visa 2019. I'm still waiting for the work permit. Ay Dios. Dark Moon. So that's really sad. The work permit for the U visa, if you file it after 2022-ish, whenever they came up with that process to give the work permit when it's a bona fide case, then those work permits, the ones that already, like that law was in effect already, those work permits are coming faster. But they're supposed to work backwards after they gave the new cases, the bona fide. They were supposed to go back and do the same on the older cases, but you probably need somebody to be following up. And Vermont Service Center, they're taking a long time. I can't remember if they recently opened up a new place for the U visa cases. I think it's still Vermont. And so anyway, they're very slow. You have to send those requests in the mail. If you need help with that to follow up on the U visa, we have to be kind of persistent, send at least 3 letters, sometimes more. Then you can give us a contact on WhatsApp at 1-305-501-0783. So it's 1:00. I'm gonna have to jump off because I have some clients here waiting for me. But thank you for everybody who joined in. I think that's my client calling, so I got to jump off. But everybody, if you didn't get your question answered, you have more questions for me, it's 1-305-501-0783. Thank you for all the gifts, and we'll be here hopefully tomorrow to answer more questions. Okay, hit like, hit subscribe, follow, heart above so that we can stay in touch, and you'll get a notice whenever we do go live again. All right, hope you guys have a great day.